Bonjour, hello, this is Janice in France. And believe it or not, this is the first time that I have been able to say I'm really in France. I'm so excited to have you join me today for this video, but let me talk to you about some of the people that have commented. I am enjoying all the comments, and if I don't reply to you, you comment right back and say, hey, I asked you a question. You need to reply to me, and I will. One of the main comments that I get more than anything else is, you're so brave, you're so courageous, I just admire you so much. And oh my goodness, that makes my head swell. And yes, I appreciate it so much. But what I am really is a lady that was determined, that's all. And you can do that too, no matter what you want to do. It doesn't have to be moving to France, it could be anything. So, the second comment that I normally get is, I want to visit Paris so bad, but I don't have the money. And then the third comment I get is, when I retire, I want to be just like you and move to France. So, that got me to thinking. My next video should be about visiting Paris/France on a shoestring budget. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So, I'd love to start this video, but you know I have to do this. Click, click, click to subscribe. And if you have subscribed, I certainly appreciate it. It means the world to me. And if you haven't, please do. And if you have, just share it with someone else. Thank you. You know, when we talk about going somewhere, the most expensive thing I believe people have an issue with, and that's an airline ticket. But it doesn't have to be expensive. There's Expedia, there's Yahoo, there's Google, there's all kinds of different places that you can go to get a cheap ticket. And I will list some down below in the description box also. But you know the old adage that if you buy on Tuesday or Wednesday, it might just work out? I've done it every time, and I've always found it very, very useful. Also, I know there's another way that you can save money. There is a company called Affirm, and it works with many different airlines. And what it will do, it will spread out your payments for maybe 3 months, 6 months, or maybe even a year. So whatever it is that you can budget, or maybe you want to save a year ahead of time, that's great too. And the last resort, which some people don't like, doesn't bother me, especially if I'm traveling by myself. Now, if I'm traveling with my animals, that's one thing. But just traveling with me, a couple of years ago, I flew Air Canada out of Atlanta. It was a $420 round trip ticket. And all I had to do was stop over in Canada for an hour and a half. Geez, how difficult was that? I got to sit and talk to some people that were going to Paris while drinking my Starbucks. You can't get any better than that. So anyway, having that second stop is not always the worst thing in the world. So check it out and see. We're talking about getting here as cheap as you can, and then prioritizing when you get here what's important and what isn't. The next thing I want to talk about is, where are you going to stay when you get here? Are you going to stay in an Airbnb? Are you going to stay in a VRBO? Are you going to stay in a boutique hotel, a bed and breakfast, or one of the big Marriott hotels? Are you going to stay there? Okay, but check out the prices first. And some of them don't offer breakfast. So check it out and be very careful. Now, what I would ask you to do is maybe think out of the box. There are monasteries that you can stay in. Yep, I said it. And I stayed in a convent in Nevers, France. It was fabulous, the best experience ever. And then you can stay at hostels. They have hostels with just one double room and an ensuite. So not all hostels are bunk beds. So just take the time to get the best price. And in some of the monasteries, you can travel up to 5 days and stay there. And maybe the price is only $65 for a night, or for a double bed, double occupancy, $80, That's very cheap. Now, I will tell you this. I have been known at 10 o'clock at night when traveling with my daughter, and we've been going all day long, to get a taxi to get back to the hotel because I was just so tired. I didn't want to take the metro home. So transportation can be expensive. So just make sure that that is a priority. You know, some nights it was a priority to me because I wanted to come home. I wanted to get back to my Airbnb. So there are all kinds of different choices you can make when it comes to that. Do you know that there's a thing called Couch Surfing International? Yep. You can stay on someone's couch. You may have to do some chores. You may not have to do some chores. I don't know. You may want to stay outside the limit. Jennifer and I did that one time and stayed out on a farm. And it was fabulous. We had our own room though, and she got the chicken eggs every day, and it was a great experience because that's what traveling is all about, having an experience. If you don't want to have an experience, stay at home and keep your money and do something else. But if you want to have an experience, you're going to have to think a little bit out of the box. So I would think about what is your priority. In fact, when you get through with this video, get your piece of paper and say, okay, what is my priority? I want to get there first. Then what do I want to do? So let's continue on. The next thing, let's talk about how we're going to get around when we get there. Are we going to take the train? Are we going to take the metro? Are we going to take taxis? Or are we going to take the bus? Traveling throughout Paris can be a little daunting, but the best thing for you is to either go paperless, contactless, and download the Navigo Pass on your phone. Now, if you don't know how to do that, ask your kids, ask your grandkids, they'll help you. I know my daughter did. I have the regular pass that I can choose. So I have one for $75, and that's why, because I live here. But all you have to do is to get one maybe for $25 or $30. And then if it tanks out, there's a little machine in the metro station that you can just fill it back up. It's very easy. So don't be scared to use these apps. Also, my daughter taught me how to use the Uber app. So now I can use it fabulously. And don't be scared. And we do have taxis in Paris, and they're licensed. So, I mean, you know, don't be scared to use transportation. The Navigo Pass will take you anywhere on a bus, on the metro, just won't take you with a taxi. I will tell you though, transportation will take up a ton of your money if you use it all the time. If you use it sparingly, it will be okay. The best thing to do would be to get your Navigo Pass and just go and go and go. Now we have what we call here in Paris different zones. And zone 3 may be busier and more expensive during 9 o'clock traffic. And so instead of having to figure all that out, just get your Navigo Pass, download it on your phone, or have the actual pass like I do, and you won't have to worry about it. Now, I will tell you this. I have been known at 10 o'clock at night when traveling with my daughter, and we've been going all day long, to get a taxi to get back to the hotel because I was just so tired. I didn't want to take the metro home. So transportation can be expensive. So just make sure that that is a priority. You know, some nights it was a priority to me because I wanted to come home. I wanted to get back to my Airbnb. So there are all kinds of different choices you can make when it comes to that. Okay, so the next item, let's talk about food. Everyone comes to Paris for the cheese, the bread, the patisseries. But you don't want to blow all your money on food. So again, let's think about it. If you're staying in a hotel or a place that has breakfast, take advantage of it. Eat all you can. And that way you won't be tempted to spend money when you don't really need to. Or if you're in an Airbnb, the day you get in, go down to the grocery store, get you some milk, get you some cereal, get you some fruit, anything that will tide you over. And then you can always go to a sandwich shop and just get a sandwich for lunch. And it might be a great time for you to sit down on a picnic bench or just sit down in a park and just say, hey, whew, what a great morning we've had. Wow, did you see that? Or just take the opportunity to people watch. Remember my video about slowing down? This would be the great time to practice. Slow down, enjoy that sandwich, enjoy that drink. Speaking of drinks, bring your own container for water or buy one at a souvenir shop while you're here. And just use the water here every day, and that way you don't have to worry about all the plastic bottles going into the ocean and polluting it, and also saving you some money. So let's talk about food again. So you can pick up that piece of fruit, you can pick up that sandwich, and sit down and relax for a while. Now, people always ask me sometimes about restaurants. Which one do you think is the best? Which one do you think I'll enjoy? I've never been into a Paris restaurant yet that wasn't good. So absolutely, I can tell you maybe some of the ones that I've been in, which haven't been very many, of the ambiance, which is great. And you can find that out on the internet too. You can find out how many stars they have, and you can find out even the menu. You know, when you go to a very nice restaurant, you don't have to order a $45 meal. You can always order some French onion soup, which I've never had a bad bowl of it here yet, or a salad. It isn't necessary what you consume. It's your environment that you're consuming it in. That's what's important. So you can save on food tremendously. Then, after you get through eating dinner, don't ever eat dessert there. Go to another place and experience eating dessert somewhere else. One more experience to chalk up for the day. The next thing we want to talk about is, what in the world am I going to do in Paris when I get there? There's just so many things to choose from. Oh my gosh. My advice is the first day after you wake up and you've got your sea legs back is for you to get one of those hop-on, hop-off buses. I don't have a particular one that I recommend. I like them all. And I always get a 48-hour pass. Now, I may not use that second day as much, but that first day I always like to go around the city. Then, if I don't have time or I have it scheduled for something else, then the next day I can use it and I can get off and I can say, that's that shop. Remember I told you about that shop I wanted to go into? Oh, wow, would that not make a great photo shot right there? Or maybe, wow, that's a Houseman architect there. I want to go look at that. Oh my gosh, there's a perfumery. I've been wanting to go in there, and oh my gosh, I need to do that. So there's always something to see. And for 48 hours, it's not a bad deal. And I think some of them offer, if you do 48 hours, a free ride down the Seine. And you always want to do that at night because you can always look back over your shoulder, or when you're returning, you can always see that Eiffel Tower sparkling. Every town I go into, I always take a tour bus the first day because I get to see the town not walking, but just sitting up high and seeing it in a different way that I'm going to see it for the rest of the week. There are so many things that you can do here for free. For instance, go to the Galeries Lafayette. It's a great, big, huge department store. I didn't say you had to buy everything, but go to the very top level that the elevator takes you, then walk up the next level, and out in the very open is just the most gorgeous photo shots that you can get all over Paris. And down below in the Galeries Lafayette, they have a place where you can get a little champagne, a little macaron, to just sit and enjoy the sights. Galeries Lafayette is beautiful inside, so you might just want to take a chance to slow down and enjoy the sights around you. The next place is, do you know that there's a Victor Hugo museum that is free? And there's other museums that are free. In fact, there's one called the Museum of Romantic Life. I want to go there, even if it is by myself. And there's a Carousel Museum. There's just tons of museums. Get on that internet and start scouring around about free museums in Paris. Don't be scared to look. Then, one of the best ideas I've ever heard, schedule your trip so that you're there the first Monday of the month. And that way you get to go to museum free. Yep. Any museum you want to. I think there's a couple that they list in there that you can't go in, but most of them you can go, like the Louvre, you can go to Museum d'Orsay. It's lovely. They're one of my favorites. Museum d'Orsay is one of my favorites because it's small. I don't seem to be encapsulated with so much art that I can't even understand it. That's when you need a guide. But anyway, I love those two places. And if you can arrange for your travels to be on the first Monday of the month, you get to go for free. And you can use that money for something else. And also there's a night, check on the internet again, that they keep the museums open late at night. Can you imagine going and having dinner and then going to visit the museum at night? There's not a lot of people around and you can view and just look and just enjoy. Wouldn't that be nice? There's an abundance of free items that you can take in and never spend a dime. Look at the Eiffel Tower. You always want to go at night and see it sparkling. And it's not so bad during the day either. And there's the Arc de Triomphe. And there's walking down the Champs-Élysées. And there's just so many items that you want to see that are absolutely free. Remember, ladies and gents, prioritize what is important to you. And then you can take these beautiful trips, a day trip. Oh my goodness. My most favorite day trip is Fontainebleau, where I live. You can see the chateau. It's gorgeous. And if you do come to Fontainebleau, please let me know ahead of time. I'll meet you down at Paul's and let you buy me a cup of hot chocolate. Then you can go to Giverny, where Monet painted and lived. And then you can go to see the Versailles. That's where we signed that pact with Germany after World War I. It's so interesting. The Hall of Mirrors is gorgeous. And then you can learn all about Marie Antoinette. And you even may want to go to Normandy, where our guys and the French and so many other countries lost their lives on those beaches. The history is absolutely stunning. And I am going in February, and I will send back a little bit of a video for you. But I'm going to use a tour guide when I get there because I've been there a couple of times by myself, but I would really like to know exactly a little more information than what I know. Another trip that I love to go to is Bruges. It's in Brussels, and it's cobblestone streets, the best French fries you'd ever want to put in your mouth, and every shop. Well, not every shop. There's a lace shop and a chocolate shop, and a lace shop and souvenir shop and a chocolate shop. You will have the best Belgian chocolates. It's fabulous. I love to take that trip. So these are just a few trips that I recommend. And I'm certainly not a tour guide, and there are many, many others that you can take. But that's up to you. And if you have that kind of money, but remember, if you have the Navigo Pass, you already have the train. And you can just download the train app, and you can make your own reservations. It is not that difficult, promise me. If I can do it, you can do it. Also, there's one last thing I want to mention. Her name is Edith. She is not sponsoring this video. She is my French teacher. She is an attorney. She is a licensed tour guide. Did you hear that? Licensed tour guide. Do you know that in order to be a licensed tour guide that you have to go to school? It isn't a 3-day class either. So I would highly recommend her. She is not on a shoestring budget. She is so knowledgeable. She can take you to the La Marais district, the Jewish district, and tell you about what happened during World War II. She can show you the ins and outs and all the secrets of Coco Chanel. She can take you to the Louvre, and she can take you to Versailles. There are so many different tours. Now, I went on the tour twice with her in Montmartre. I absolutely loved it. If any of you have been following me, you've seen that great big sign that I had my arms open wide and it said, I love you in about 311 different languages. That's in Montmartre. It's kind of like a little bohemian town. It's where all the artists used to hang out and live, the starving artist, So they played and drank and did their art and had a fun time. And that is a great, great tour. So anyway, prioritize, remember? You can come to Paris and you can spend $3,000 if you want. Or you can come to Paris and spend $1,500. Now, it's always better if you bring someone with you because they can pay for half of where you stay. They can almost help you pay with some of your food. It's okay to split a meal. It's okay to split a sandwich. We don't need to eat the whole thing to enjoy it. French food is rich. You may just need a little bit. Enjoy what you have in life. And if it means you having to work a second job, if it means you putting your pennies and your quarters in a jar, or if it just means maybe you don't want to get your nails done this month, you want to save some money, whatever it is that you want to do, however determined you are to come see Paris. It's a beautiful country, and I'm in love with it. So, from me to you, Janice in France, if you're determined, you can do it. Look at me. I live here now. I was determined. I can't say it was the most important decision ever made, but I can say it was the best decision I've ever made. Au revoir. I hope you enjoyed. And remember, the next video is going to be moving to France on a shoestring budget. I'll see you then. Bye.